and welcome to Dr. Emmet Emery Sr. You Better Stand Your Watch podcast. A nice little topic here, so I guess I roll my sleeves up for this one because we're about to get dirty with this one. Confidence is defined as the feeling or belief that one can rely on someone or something, like a firm trust. The state of feeling certain about the truth of something, a feeling of self-assurance arising from one's appreciation of one's own ability or qualities, the telling of private matters or secrets within mutual trust, a secret or private matters or secrets with mutual trust, a secret or private matter told to someone under a condition of trust. It's confidence. But I'm going to use confidence not in the form of someone's understanding someone or believing or relying on someone's trust. I'm going to use confidence today as having the confidence to go forward with something. Courage is defined as the ability to do something that frightens one, strengthened in the face of pain or grief. Courage is straightforward. You got to have the courage to do this. I mean, if you look at, for the ones who can remember the movie The Wizard of Oz, you had the curly lion and you had the cowardly scarecrow, and you had Dorothy, who had the confidence to go forward. I don't know what the purpose of the dog Toto was, but we go forward. Confidence in the workplace refers to your mindset that knows what you are doing, where you're best at, and your values. It is important for career success and performance. Strategies to develop workplace confidence include understanding your strengths, investing in professional development, and practicing positivity. Courage in the workplace refers to acting with confidence, integrity, and a sense of purpose. It involves reassessing beliefs, behaviors, assumptions, and control issues. Courage means disagreeing with superiors, proposing new plans, confronting coworkers, and holding difficult clients accountable. It is the ability to confront fear, pain, danger, or uncertainty. So I gave you the definition of courage. I gave you the definition of confidence. And now we're going to get a little bit deep into this. Starting with confidence in the workplace. First, you must find meaning in your work. What is the impact of your work? And what impact does it have or has directly or indirectly on the lives of others? Find meaning and purpose in your work. Why are you doing it? And how is it affecting others? Is it helping others? Is it helping train, develop others? You developing the next person to take your place? Or is your or the meaning of your work is not defined, therefore you're self-centered, you're arrogant, you push away people? What is the meaning of your work? Next, make expectations explicit. Take time to share them and understand them. Low confidence can lead to mistakes, lack of engagement, and missed opportunities. Take the time to go forward and explain your expectations to your leadership. Explain your expectations to the people who work for you. Explain them. Be explicit. Let them know exactly what you want, desire, and is looking for. That means that once you explain it, you're not going sporadically. One day you say do this, and you know what your expectation is, but you're breaking it apart. You're not actually explaining it to them so they can understand it and they can go forward. And then you're struggling in the workplace, and you're struggling with the people who work for you. And so make expectation explicit. Next, seek out mentors who know your work. Share with them what you're doing. Take their advice and follow up on the effect it has. Be vulnerable about your feelings. Don't have a mentor and then you don't listen to the mentor. Don't have a mentor that don't reflect your workspace. If you're an IT person, don't have a mentor that's accounting. How did that mash? It doesn't. And then again, take your mentor advice. That's why as a mentor, you're learning from that individual. Don't tell your mentor what to do or tell your mentor how things supposed to be done, because then you're not the mentee. You're a mentor over to the mentor. It doesn't make any sense. And you got to be able to take criticism and let it roll off your back. That means you got to be able to have tough skin. Because if you got a good, strong mentor, that mentor going to let you know what you're doing wrong. The purpose of letting you doing wrong is not to criticize you and belittle you. The purpose of letting you know what you're doing wrong is to make you stronger, help you identify the issues and the problems, and to move forward. Therefore, you once you identify it, you won't do it again. A lot of issues connect to each other. Next, learn to silence your inner circle, your inner critic, that person inside you, that little dude inside you. Everyone experiences insecurities and doubt about his or her ability. They said, try to control the little person inside you that gives a doubt. Well, that little person ain't really inside, that little person inside your head. So the one inside your head is the one that giving you doubt. So you don't have the confidence to go forward because you're doubting what you're capable of doing, or you doubting the outcome. You're trying to proceed the outcome, then you doubt what might happen, come forward, then you'll have the confidence to go forward. Next, accept that everyone makes mistakes. Low confidence is directly tied to the fear of not being perfect. Do the best job you can and learn from your mistakes. As you notice, I've been saying mistakes a lot so far. Not a lot, but so far. Everyone makes mistakes. You learn from your mistakes. You speak up. That's the only way you're gonna get better. You can take all the academic classes that you think gonna help your job. You can take all the training classes that you think is gonna help your job. But if you don't learn from the mistakes or have mistakes to learn from mistakes, then you're not gonna grow. You're just gonna be that person that understands the book, not understand the hands-on trade. Next, set and achieve reasonable goals. Set reasonable goals and divide them up into steps, then work on them one at a time. So if you're setting goals, you don't want to, and so many people have a mistake of doing that. They'll say, okay, I have my goals in place, and then they have 10 goals. And out of 10 goals, 7 is unrealistic. It might be realistic for the past work environment that they worked in, but not realistic for the current job they have. So they have 10 goals and 7 unrealistic goals, and they're wondering why they can't make it. And then they try to do them all at the same time. Number one, it doesn't line up with what the job is, so they're not going to work. Number 2, you're trying to do all of them at the same time. Whenever you're doing goals, you set your goals. Your short-term goals are short-term goals. Your short-term goals can be anywhere between 30 to 90 days. Some people's short-term goals from 30 to 6 months. Well, those short-term goals is not going to be a whole lot of goals. Those short-term goals not going to be 10 goals. Those short-term goals going to be 3 to 4 goals. Your long-term goal over a period of time is the ones that are going to be double-digit goals. And those are the ones that you do in steps. You don't do them all at once. So you go step by step by step. You break them down. Now, courage in the workplace. Just talk about confidence in the workplace. You need to have the confidence to go forward. You have the confidence to stand up to individuals who you think is ridiculing you, who's underestimating you, who's judging you. Have the confidence to stand firm and stand up in the workplace. Don't be silly and try to challenge everybody and then you know getting knocked on your butt, or you lose your job, and then you come back and say, well, Dr. Emmet said on this podcast to have confidence. No, better have wisdom with that confidence too. Courage in the workplace. Pick the right battles at the right time. It's important to determine which ones are worth working towards change, because questioning leadership and defining the rules without having a plan can result in a disgruntled work environment. So you pick a battle. Say you don't pick a battle. Say you're trying to go headstrong with your immediate supervisor. And your immediate supervisor, say you've been in the business or been in the company for 3 years, but you have 15 years experience in the area. And your immediate supervisor been in the company for 15 years. Well, you figured that it's time for you to go forward and explain to your immediate supervisor that his method is outdated and is not going to work any further. So the methods might be outdated, but the method might be for that facility, which means the facility is outdated, which means all the policy procedures need to be redone. But you choose a battle where you go back and forth with your immediate boss, supervisor, without going through all the channels of understanding that is a various steps involved with changing something on the spot. So choose your battles and do your research. You do your research, then you come forth with your battle, then you come forth with good ammunition and strength. Because if you only been there for 5 years, or 3 or 5 years, the other person been there 15, 20 years, they got a lot of ammunition because they know how that company works. When you really don't know how the company works. You can be there 3 years to a company and still not understand how it works efficiently. You got to be there for at least 5+ years to understand, because it's some hidden things that you're not going to really uncover until that 5th year. Asking questions. Asking the difficult questions that others are afraid to ask. Don't ask them all the time. Because if you constantly asking difficult questions, then you end up antagonizing your boss and your boss's boss. And then sometime, even if you're being sincere and you feel that you're speaking up for everyone, they start labeling you as a problem, as an issue, even though that's not your intent. Your intent is to speak up for the group, speak up for the ones you think is thinking the same thing as you are, but haven't stepped out and said anything. So you designate yourself the spokesperson. But if you designate yourself the spokesperson a series of times and no one else stepped forward, well, the leadership above you began to come under the impression that the people underneath you is not agreeing with you because they're not stepping forward with you. So then you begin to be labeled as a problem child when that's not your intention. Because when you're not around the leaders that you speak up, those same individuals did not speak up during that meeting or doing whatever the series was. They congratulate you. Thank you for speaking up for us. We appreciate you. But they never open their mouth in the meeting. Because they don't open their mouth, the leadership, especially when they don't like the fact that you're challenging them, then they're going to label you as a problem child. Then they're going to use the excuse that no one else is following up behind you, so you are the issue and you causing problems in the department. Therefore, you have to be either coached or replaced. So be careful. Getting input from others, stepping out of your comfort zone. No individual has ever been successful by themselves. There always have been another person to assist in that individual being successful. Even as you born into money, well, you had that second person that made the money initially for you to have that money. So that means you didn't do it by yourself. So remember, in order to be successful, in order to be courageous, you have to have another person backing you up, or else you solo. And it goes back to what I was talking about a few minutes ago. So getting your input from others, that helps you get a better understanding of situations. So it don't become a catch-up show. What catch-up want, we're doing what catch-up want, and catch-up not getting input from anyone. Well, Mustard said, I have 5 different ways that you can do that, but catch-up won't ask me for my input. Mustard never come forward with any ideas. Mustard never come forward and say, hey, I got something I need to say. They'll never do that. So catch-up be under the impression that, hey, they with me, they support me, and I'm going to continue to lead in this matter. Well, you can't do that. You have to get input from others. You got to step out of that comfort zone. See, because when you start getting that information, getting that when you start getting that understanding or that belief of feeling the comfort that you are the spokesperson and they're pushing you out there and that's your job to do that, then that means that you become comfortable in that particular zone. And when you become comfortable in a particular zone, sometimes you get tunnel vision. And with that tunnel vision, you can't see past the binders. So anything on the side of you, you don't see. You see everything straight. So get that input from others and then share it with others. I said a few podcasts back in the meetings, I used to get input from other individuals. What do you suggest? What do you think? And then the person who recorded the meeting writes it down. And then I stop at 10. Out of that 10, I make it a point in 30 days to do all 10 of those recommendations, those suggestions. And that way they can see when we had that meeting that next month, they can see what was successful and what was unsuccessful. They can see what they suggested that it failed because it was a part of that when I implemented it. So I made sure I implemented it. So everyone had a chance to put their input in. I mean, I did that for like 3 or 4 months in a row at one of the positions as direct operation. And then because a lot of the stuff was failing, I didn't get too much input, which is fine for me. Being assertive. If you know of a better way to tackle the task, you can be assertive by giving your opinion to your boss, to your immediate boss. I'm a firm believer, as a military veteran, of following or going through the chain of command. That chain of command means that person, your supervisor above you, is your immediate supervisor. That's who you communicate with. That's who you have all your conversations with. The boss of the supervisor is not your immediate communication. So that means you're going past your immediate communication, go to the next person. Well, you might get away with doing that the first or second time. But that third time, your boss going to be very upset. Number one, they're not going to like the fact that you're going above them without even communicating with them. They probably say, go ahead if you inform them what you're doing. But you need to let them know. Because number two, they get blindsided. So their boss will come and say, hey, why did Mustard come to me with this issue? Why didn't you address it? And Mustard never came to you. So then your boss thinking that you got an issue with communication with your people. Is it a trust issue as well? And then all these sort of thoughts comes up from your boss, and then you get put in a bad position. So make sure that you go to your boss first and not go over that individual. Because once you go over that individual, then become an issue, and the individual sometimes end up getting an attitude with you. And sometimes that says a warehouse manager, says operation manager, and it's the DOO. Well, sometimes you have both of them have attitudes with you. And they say that you're an issue and that you're a complainer and that you don't follow proper chain of command, that you're a rebel. I used to hate it when I heard that. Rebel. How can you be a rebel? How can you be a rebel? You're an hourly associate. Let me leave that alone. Next one, saying no. If you feel that the workload is getting out of hand or that your manager is making unrealistic demands, it is vital to communicate that to them by saying no. Now, you are advised through me to say no if you're a member of management. Don't say no if you're an associate. You say no if you're an hourly worker. That doesn't look right. You got to put it a different way to say no. You got to say, well, I think it might work this way, or my suggestion might be this way, or things that nature. You say no, that means you're being disobedient. That means you're being disrespectful, and your boss figured that now you're confrontational. But if you're a member of management, then you can go to your boss and say, no, I don't think it'll work that way. You can use the word no. No, I don't think my team can do that in that amount of time. No, I don't think it'd be beneficial to do that today. No, I think we don't have enough time to get that done before the deadline. So you can use the word no if you're a member of management. Next, inspire others. Being able to inspire others is a form of courage in itself. You got to have the courage to want to inspire others to be better, to do better. You have to be that mentor that get fulfillment and enjoyment from success of your mentee. Not only of your mentee, but from others. If you're a grandparent, you get success from what your kids do, and you get success from what your grandkids does. If you're a worker, if you're a member of management, you should be getting success from your immediate associates underneath you, and you should be getting success from feeling success and joy from the workers that work on the immediate supervisors. Because you're all a team. You're all working as one. And sometimes that motivation from the member of management going down, or the words that come down, is motivation. The recognition that comes down is motivation to the people that works down below. To the foot soldiers, as I call them. Next, we talked about courage in the workplace. Now we're going to talk about helping to build confidence in your kids. We're going to go to kids now. Number one, model confidence yourself. Parents, don't be a wimp. Don't be a sapsucker. Don't be a chump. Model confidence. Like I said in the last podcast, the kids' attention span might be 4 to 5 minutes, but they're still watching you for about an hour, 2 hours. So they're watching and they're listening. They know if you got confidence or not. They know, dads, if the mom's running the household. They know if mom say jump and you say how high. They know that. So you think they're going to have confidence to come to you? No, they're going to go to mom. Confidence starts with the individual who oversees the household. In other words, the head of the household has to have the confidence to communicate with the kids and the spouse. The head of the household, I'm old-fashioned. It's a little bit different now. I'm a little bit old-fashioned. The head of the household should have been that man, that provider. Yeah, that woman is providing too, but that man is supposed to be somewhat provider. I mean, it provides in every aspect, not just financially. Because that woman will help assist financially in the providing stage with the bills and things of that nature. But that man is supposed to be the protector of the household. Provides protection. That man is supposed to be overseer of the individuals in that household. Provider. Overseer. Tell them, your kids, do not get upset about mistakes. You know, some of the kids get down and they get down on themselves, they make a mistake. Well, some kids get down because some of the parents are aggressive. The kids make a mistake. What are you doing, you knucklehead? What are you doing, you little idiot? If you call that child an idiot, that child gonna call their child an idiot. If you yelling and being forceful with that child gonna be yell and be forceful with their kids. My mother did it to me. I did it to my kids. And my kids started to do it with their kids. And then they kind of settled down. I got caught up with the gen and society and the laws. That's a different thing. Help kids see that everyone makes mistakes. And the important thing is to learn from them. Explain to them, everybody makes mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes. The important thing is that you learn from the mistakes that you make so you won't make it again. And you always communicate with your child when they make that first mistake. Because that first mistake is usually a small mistake. And if you don't communicate with them with that small mistakes, then they're going to continue to make mistakes. And then when they make that big mistake, you can't speak up then because it's too late. Now when you speak up on that big mistake, that's when their egos get crashed. That's when their personality gets shattered. That's when they feel down and out. And that's when some kids figure that if their parents don't love them, especially if they're going through mess at school, the bullying and the segregation, all that, then that's when that child start thinking more towards suicidal stage. And over the past 5 years, the United States has been the #1 country for teenage and young adult suicides. Encourage them to try new things. Don't do the same thing over and over again. Try new things. I had my kids, I let them play every sport. And some sports I let them play, they didn't want to do it, they hated it. But I want them to get a chance to experience that sport so they can decide on which sport they wanted to participate in. Why did I have them do all the sports? Well, my kids were very intelligent kids, very bright. But the percentage of an African-American child going to college on an academic scholarship was between 1% and 2%. So I knew it was going to be tough for them getting an academic scholarship. I don't care if they score perfect on the ACT at that time. It's different now, but my kids in their 30s now, mid-30s and late 20s and mid-30s. So I had to think of a way where I didn't have to come out of pocket. So by me not coming out of pocket and having money just to support them in other areas, I encouraged them to go an area that I knew they can get a full scholarship. Books, room and board, and all that good stuff, which is sports. So I introduced them to a lot of different sports. And my son loved football, and then he got into basketball. My oldest biological daughter loved track and field. And then my oldest daughter, she got into basketball. And my youngest child loved soccer. And then she got too tall for soccer, and she hated the fact she had to let soccer go. And then she got into basketball. And because she played soccer first, and this happened to a lot of the athletes, when they play soccer first, they get the hand and feet coordination. They also have the speed. So because she played soccer first, she was very fast on the court when she first started playing. Allow kids to fail. Parents, this is tough. But you got to allow them to fail. If a child starts walking, they take 2 steps, fall down. You leave them alone. You don't go pick them up. Oh, little Charlie, you fell down. You okay? You okay? Little Charlie got a pimple on. Little Charlie didn't feel that fall. Leave little Charlie alone. Let him go. I mean, my ex-wife, my oldest daughter, she's running when that girl was falling, then she stopped. I guess I don't know if she stopped because she felt that she needed to let her fail, or because she got tired of running back and forth. I said, let her go. Let them fall. And what happened? Let her fail. What happened? She got back up. Tried again. Fell back down. Got back up. Tried again. Each time, take more steps. That's how they learn how to walk. You have to let that child fail. If you don't let that child fail, that child will not know what failure is like. For the parents who does their kids' homework, and the kids take the homework back to school, and they get 100%. That child didn't do that work. You did that work. And so that child is going through school, middle school and high school, based upon your academic knowledge. Those are the parents that's very intelligent and have degrees and smart. Then you got the parents that do the kids' homework, the kids take it to school, and them suckers be failing left and right. Woo! Help kids find their passion. Every child have a passion. Every child have a passion. The sports was just to get them discipline and experience and have the respect to stay focused on that particular area. but they still had experience in another area. My youngest daughter, I mean, she just took off. I mean, she started doing poetry. She can do poetry. She can write literature, and there's other things that she can do besides that sport. So let your kids find their passion. Celebrate effort. So the little Bessie take 2 steps and fall. They get back up. Oh, you walk. Take 3 steps and fall and get back up. You celebrate that. And then you notice after a while, you start clapping and little Bessie start clapping. The little Bessie start walking further. That's when you start, child-proofing your house. Because you already gave little Bessie the effort. Next, helping to build courage with your child. We talked about confidence, now we're talking about courage. You ask them to define courage first. Ask them what courage is. Tell me what courage means to you. You don't need the exact definition. You ain't got to be that direct. And see what they think courage is. Then if you have to elaborate, you elaborate. If it's good, it's good. You tell them it's good. Go with that. And most of all, with that courage, you practice silence with them. Some kids get themselves in trouble because they talk too much. I mean, I had to do that with my son. I mean, he had the ability, he's better than a lot of other kids, so he used to brag about it. The kids not that good don't like that. Or they're very smart in certain areas, and other kids around them may not be that smart as that, and they brag about it. The kids don't like that. So they got to learn how to have silence on their ability. Let their work speak for themselves in the workplace. Let their actions speak for themselves in their personal life. Let their ability show what they're capable of doing speaks for itself. And then they ain't got to brag about it. They ain't got to belittle other person. I mean, back in the day when I was playing basketball, you talk about the next person on the court like they wasn't even there. You sorry. You can't stick me. You seen me on this court. Watch this. Whoop, boom. Or as my son say, he come pull up and the guy come out of, he said, welcome to the gun line. Bam. Talking about ticking somebody off. Teach them how to stand alone. Teach them how to stand alone. Do not baby your child, boy or girl, past high school years. Actually past puberty. You don't want to do that. Because, number one, if that child is babied, and that child think that mom or dad is always going to be there for them, comfort them, you okay, and stroke them and hold them and telling everybody stay away from him and don't you do no harm to my child, and if you do something to my child, be out there, I'm going to fight for you. Well, that ain't going to work now anyway because no one fights. 8, 7-year-olds have guns. They'll shoot you around the spot. But teach that person to stand alone. Because number one, no one likes to be bullied. And no one likes to be picked on. And those individuals that's cuddled, those are the ones that get targeted in school. Those are the ones that doesn't mature fast. They're very immature. Because daddy then held on to the little girl and give her whatever she wants and let her sit on his laps and everything else. And keep her close. And mommy held on to the little boy because she didn't know that she had to let the little boy go at a certain point. And then sometimes it's based up on the kids. Some kids, and mothers know this, some boys, when they get a certain age, they don't, if mommy hugging kids and say goodbye at school, at a certain age, depending on the other peers, the little boys at schools, they don't do that. That little boy not going to do that. He going to say, don't do that to me here. You're going to walk away. You're going to push away. They call that the early child separation, or dad kissing the little girl on the cheek. And now she got peer pressure from the little kids in school. She's not going to want to do that. Those are the ones that pull away. I was like that. Mom, don't hug me. Mom, right here, this. these guys checking this out. I don't want to be, looked at like that. Those are the kids that push away. But the ones that don't push away are the ones that you need to push them away to have them stand alone. Apologize after the fact of the matter. If you do something bad to the kids, apologize. If the kids do something bad, have them apologize. What they said, don't let the sun go down on your anger, or a married couple said, don't go to bed angry. Well, don't let your child go to bed angry. Let their child know, apologize. Free your spirit so you can sleep good. So you won't be waking up in the middle of the night. So you can snore like a devil throughout the whole night. Choose not to complain. Tell that child, stop complaining. I don't want hot dogs today. Shut up. I don't like beans. You never had beans before. Tell that child, stop complaining. Be grateful. Be happy about the fact. I don't want to go to school. You're going to school. Get up. Have 5 alarms in the house. All of them suckers go off at the same time. That kid's still laying there. Next, break down hard activities into achievable steps. If you got the child cutting grass, show them how to cut grass in a simple pattern. And only have them cut grass in a certain area. Don't have them cut grass in a difficult area, because they're going to have difficulty cutting that grass. So break down the hard activities into achievable steps. Next, we're going to the marriage. Confidence with your marriage first. Share your days. A lack of information creates a void where doubt and worries can thrive. I don't understand it. How hard is it to talk about your day to your spouse? Share your day. Well, the day was tough. While you're kicking your shoes off, today was tough. Your spouse, the husband, could be some massaging the wife's foot at the time while she's talking about her day. The wife could be getting the husband remote control and make sure the TV stay off while you talk about his day. Talk about your day to each other. That way you're learning from each other. You're learning what happened on that day. You're learning how the individual approached that day. You're learning how the individual deals with the results of that day. Talk about your day to each other. Full disclosure, make your entire life an open book. Hell no. No. I tell you right now, your wife not going to do it. She's not going to make her whole life an open book. Why? Because it's not necessary. You should make your whole life open book. Why? Because trust should be a number one deterrent factor in that relationship. You trust each other. You ain't got to talk about everything. Then some things get misinterpreted. So don't use it as an open book, your life as an open book, because if you sharing each other's day, you already know what's going on throughout the day. You know what's going on in the household because you both are there. So you don't need to make it an open book. Then sometimes people get to talking and feeling good about the conversation and say, yeah, back in the day we did this. Now you're bringing back in the day here. That spouse wasn't with you back in the day. Why are you putting doubt in their mind? Don't even talk about all that. So don't make it an open book. Teamwork. Trust suffers when you are out of step. Each trying to solve problems and make decisions on your own. That's the toughest thing to do in a household with a married couple. You got each individual want to be the boss. Each individual want to be the alpha. And each individual sometimes just bow down and say, okay, I'm just going to do it for this person, but that person got to do it for me next time. No, you can't be individuals in a household. You got to be able to agree to disagree at times. You got to be on the same page. You got to be able to have that teamwork constantly. The couples sometimes just be together for the kids. And when the kids turn a reasonable age between 16 and 18, then they divorce. Might have been married for 20, 25 years, 15, 20, 25 years, then they divorce. Why? Because they never worked together as a team. Set boundaries. Have the blessing of rules and limits for your relationship. Set boundaries. Respect each other. Those boundaries allow you to respect each other. Be disciplined enough to fulfill what that individual asks you to do pertaining to those boundaries. You shouldn't have to ask what the boundaries are. You should know. You should feel it. You should be able to see the boundaries. And you should realize the boundary before you even got married. Some boundaries doesn't change because you're married. And you shouldn't feel that it should change because you're married. Admit and apologize. Saying, I am sorry, says, I see you. I understand you. I care how you feel. Man, open your damn mouth and say, I'm sorry. Stop being so proud and thinking that if you say you're sorry, it's a sign of weakness. No, it's not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of peace in the household. Say you're sorry. Your spouse sometimes don't have no problem saying they're sorry. And sometimes they want to say they're sorry, but they won't say they're sorry because they know you don't say you're sorry. So they figure, why should I say I'm sorry? That sucker don't say he's sorry. So she walk up to you, for example, and say, sweetheart, I'm sorry. But they usually walk up while you're watching the game. So you hear him or don't hear him. So you sitting up there in the recliner with your hand down in your pants, watching the game with the beer in the other hand. They say, I'm sorry. And then your team fumbles the ball. You say, oh, God. I ain't going to say that word. And then your spouse think that you said that when she said, I'm sorry. Be careful when you say, I'm sorry. That means when you hear it, automatically say, I'm sorry too. And then you got nothing to worry about. Then they're going to ask you what you're sorry about. Then you got a chance to think about it. Follow through, dependable, and reliable. Say what you mean and mean what you say. Don't say one thing and do something else. If you're going to say you're going to go on a field trip with the kids on a Friday, then Friday comes, you say, I'm too tired. I've been worked all week. I'm not going to go. That's not reliable. That's not dependable. And if you're not reliable, dependable to the kids, that means you're not reliable and dependable to that spouse. Because that spouse is not going to respect you because you're not upholding your responsibility with those kids. Courage with your marriage. Deciding to let certain things go. Man, we are the strong, dominant figure. So you don't need to run your mouth. Even if your wife continues to talk, you already know that you're more dominant. She might just need to get that off. Let it go. Let her talk. Let it roll off your back. If you got a buddy or you talking to someone out in outside your household and they are bigger than you and you're afraid of them and they run their mouth, you ain't gonna tell them to shut up. So don't try to be all tough and bossy around your spouse. Let them get that out. Let them talk. Let them clear their conscience. Trust me, it's gonna be better for you and the household. Let them get that out. Don't hold that in, because if they hold it in that day, you'll let them get it out. They hold it the next day, you'll let them get it out. For you know it's a week. And a week, there's no communication because you didn't let her get that out. Focusing more on finding solutions than on assigning blame. It's your fault. You did this. You always do this. You always do that. You did it. No blame. No, it's your fault. No fault. No, sit down and say, what do you think we should do so we can make sure this doesn't happen again? Come with solutions. Being specific with what you want or need from your partner. Don't beat around the bush. Don't feel that if you say that, they're gonna hurt them or they're gonna start thinking crazy or think you're out there doing something. Be specific. Tell them what you want. Sweetheart, I want a back rub. And she's gonna tell you, I need you to rub my feet. Be specific. Allowing your spouse a few faults or imperfections. No one's perfect. Definitely not your spouse. Allow imperfection. Women are good at doing that. Allowing imperfection with the husband, but husband not too good at doing that with the spouse. So it has to work both ways. Allow your spouse a few faults or imperfections. Recognizing which values you have in common. You should know that before you got married. Which values you have in common. It's not going to change because you're married. The only thing you're going to do is enhance. And that value might add more value, but you're already together and you're building and developing with one another, so you already know those values. Confidence. and courage. You cannot have confidence without the courage. You cannot have courage without the confidence. I said they go hand in hand. Right, left, left, right, left, right. So thank you today as we talked about confidence and courage. Until we meet again, thank you. And so fly! Subscribe to me. Until we meet again. Goodbye.